Hello, Cancers, and welcome to this, your September 15th through September 30th reading and predictions. For those of you who are returning, you may recognize my background as being back in my cousin's man cave in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Thank you again to my cousin for generously providing this space and the Wi-Fi to be able to record this for you guys. Okay. For those of you who are new here, a very warm welcome. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. Couple of things before I get started. First of all, for those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. So what you see is what you get. When I personally consult a tarot card reader or a psychic for myself, as we do, I expect authenticity from my readers. And so that is what I provide to you guys, both in my YouTube videos as well as in private consultations. Next, last month, I received a couple of messages that could be explained as complaints. And the complaint is that the actual reading portion of the video doesn't start until usually about 6-7 minutes into my videos. Why? Because I pull the cards in front of the camera. Why do I do this? I do this because, like you guys, I like to watch YouTube videos or videos in general of other card readers, psychics, tarot card readers, mediums, and so on. And what I found is that those who pull cards off camera and then turn the camera on and immediately begin reading cards that were previously pulled, those readings don't resonate with me the same way that readings where people pull the cards on camera resonate with me. And for that reason, I pull cards on camera. So without any further ado, Cancers, let's get going with your reading. We're going to pull cards for 6 different areas of your lives for September 15th through September 30th. And I'm going to leave all the cards sitting face down until I'm ready to read them. I'm going to call in the divine creator of all that is, angels and animals and ancestors. Please help me and guide me through this act of divination. And as always, give thanks to Mother Earth for supporting us in all that we do. Cancer. I will not be offended in any way, shape, or form if you choose to scroll ahead to the actual reading portion of this video. Okay, that was interesting. All right. So, Cancer. This is what happened for your initial card pull. I'm going to just mix up half the deck here and see what cards come out for you, because clearly that is too many for you. There's one. Is there anything else? One more time through the deck. Anything else for Cancer for where they're at now? No. Okay, so out of all that, we got one card. Let's have a look at what you are focusing on. What are you focusing on? We've got one card that's flipped out. Is there anything else that has flipped out? Yep, there we go. One more and 2 more. And oh, don't go on the ground. Thank you. That's always fun and exciting while I'm pulling the cards, because I don't edit my videos, which means that I have to climb down and grab the cards. Okay. And the next cards we're going to pull are cards of your difficult influences and your challenges. Where are we going? Over here to the traditional tarot. Cancer challenges for mid to late September. What's coming up for Cancer? Oh, and there we go again. Half the deck just came out. All right, well, wants to play like that. That's fine. right, so we're going to go back through this smaller portion of the deck. Really, only one card again. Okay. So be it. All right. The next cards that we're going to pull for you, Cancer, are going to be cards of messages you need to hear at this time. Now, these particular cards sometimes stand alone and they seem like they're just coming out of the blue, and other times they are messages that tie the rest of your reading together. So let's pull those cards and see what we come up with. Right, so we have 3 messages that the universe would like you to hear. I'm just going to set these in the order in which they came out. Unexpected. What is unexpected for you guys? All right, so we have some stuff here that's coming up that's unexpected for you for sure. You've got 2, 3, 4 cards in your unexpected, and finally your final general overall outcome. We're going over to the fairy deck. Oh, geez. Here we go again. Half the deck coming out. Okay. So in your final general overall outcome, I'm not sure that we are intended to read this many cards. There was one that came out by itself. All right, there we go. Okay, let's get started. In your where you're at now, you have the cedar tree. The cedar tree is representative of wisdom, and specifically ancient wisdom. It is about having the ability to tap into our ancestors and their knowledge, but specifically their knowledge that was natural and that was esoteric, not knowledge of, what we're taught in order to be able to protect ourselves from wars and famines and all of these other things. We're more talking about the ancient wisdom where we can begin to predict weather based on that which is natural, where we can predict certain earth-based phenomenon based on the movement of animals, for example. And this wisdom, the cedar tree wisdom for you guys, Cancer, is about getting back in touch with your roots, getting back in touch with Mother Earth and the more natural way of doing things and living your life. Okay. This is where you're at now, where you're feeling drawn towards learning more about the ancient knowledge, learning more about the esoteric, learning more about recognizing that the internet isn't always going to be here for us. At some point in time, in the not too distant future, we as a species are going to have to tap back into what is natural for us, to a certain degree, tap back into some of our more animal instincts with regards to being in touch with Mother Earth and the planet that supports us. And I know right now some of you are going, oh my God, she is so far out there. Hear me out, please. So we know that the sun is in a particular cycle that is likely to sometime probably between now and 2040 or 2045 the sun is likely to drastically alter our lives on this planet. I'm not going to get into all the details. If you guys are really interested in this, and this card is indicating that a lot of you are waking up to this wisdom, waking up to this history of our planet and how it's going to affect us as a species and affect the other people or the other species on the planet. Check out Suspicious Observers. Shout out to Ben over at Suspicious Observers. I'm telling you guys, life is going to be changed, and you are waking up to that, and you know that, and you're doing your research right now, and you are also at that point where you're going, okay, I am solid as the cedar tree. Cedar trees have been on this planet for millions of years. I'm solid. I can get through this, but I don't know how yet. Let's have a look at what you are focusing on. We have, okay. So we have the Four of Pentacles here, also known as the Four of Rainbows. This is the Miser card. I'll get into explaining it in just a moment. We have the Three of Clouds, also known as the Three of Swords, Isolation. We have the Ace of Wands, Ace of Fire, and we have the Page of Cups here. This is the Understanding card. And it's interesting the order in which these came out for you, Cancer. And by the way, you're not the first zodiac sign this month to have these two cards come out. In fact, I believe you are the fourth or the fifth zodiac sign to have the Three of Swords come out, and you are at least the third one to have this Four of Pentacles come out in this area. So let's get started. The Four of Rainbows, Four of Pentacles in this particular deck is called the Miser. Why is it called the Miser? Well, there's two meanings to this particular card and where you're at now. And it does bring up, again, this duality of recognizing that the world and the earth is changing and that our species is going to have to change and adapt. So one of the things that's coming up is we all have heard the information that our financial system is going to be drastically altered in the coming days and months. What this card is saying is balance your budget. Make sure that you don't have more going out than what you have coming in. If you have to alter your lifestyle, so be it. You may have to alter your lifestyle, because the reality is that what I was talking about here is going to force all of us to alter our lifestyles, which brings me to the second meaning of this card. And the second meaning of this card is, what are you coveting from the material world? Are you looking outside of yourself going, oh, but he has this, and oh, but she has that, and I want. Okay. When you are living in that philosophy and mindset of I want, what you are actually creating is lack in your life. So if you look at the picture on this card, you have an elderly lady who is dressed in all sorts of beautiful things from days gone by. She's got this beautiful hat and these fancy ostrich feathers, which were very expensive back in the day. She's got a fur stole. She's got all of her jewels here, and yet she looks miserable. Why does she look miserable? Because she put all of her time, effort, and energy into acquiring the material things so that she would be the one that others would say, I want what she has. And yet she's miserable. So Cancer, where are you putting your energies right now? This card is saying balance your budget, but this card is also saying be careful what you wish for. Because if you're wishing for what everyone else has in the material world, once you finally get it, you could end up miserable and alone. And the other thing is that if you are constantly coveting what other people have in the material world, you're actually creating more lack in your own life. Cancer. That brings me to the next card. And the next card is the isolation card. This card is also known as the Three of Swords. In the traditional tarot, this card is represented by having a heart with three swords stabbed through it. Not exactly a pleasant visual. What this card is about is severing and terminating an emotional tie to the past. It's about an ending. It is time to end it. Now, it may be extremely painful to end it. It may feel like it's going to put you in a place of isolation. But the reality is if you look at this card, the character was already isolated because the relationship that needed to be terminated was already making him or her feel isolated. And in terminating the relationship, although painful for the heart, it allowed him to begin to cry tears that were golden and melt his isolation so that he can reconnect with others again. This card indicates, and what I'm sensing for some of you is that you have been isolated from community, whether that be being isolated from your family, being isolated from your friends. You've withdrawn to the point that you felt isolation. And the Three of Swords is asking you to terminate whatever relationship is there. Now, it may be a physical relationship with a romantic partner. It may be a physical relationship with a family member who is isolating you due to certain tendencies that they may have, or it may just be self-imposed isolation for a period of time. Either way, this card is saying end the relationship with yourself. If you are self-isolating, it is time for you to go out and rejoin community and society. If you have like a physical person in your life who is isolating you, yes, I'm on a horse farm, so you're going to see me swatting flies. If you are in a relationship with someone who is isolating you, you might want to have a serious look at that relationship. And it could be that your isolation is as a direct result of you being in that mode of lack because you are coveting what everybody else wants and you are lamenting what you don't have. This card is saying terminate that cycle. Terminate that cycle of want, and start practicing gratitude for what you have. Because when you practice gratitude, you bring more into your life, more abundance, which brings me to the next card of what you are focusing on, which is the Ace of Fire, also known as the Ace of Wands. This is a card of once you get through this, you're going to be in that place of being able to start something new. And you're going to have a greater understanding of what's going on, both from examining and exploring ancient wisdom and ancient traditions, as well as the esoteric, as well as studying our planets and that big ball of fire that helps to keep us warm. By doing that, you're going to have a greater understanding. Also waking up to this dynamic that you have going on in your life, this coveting and this lack that is, perpetuating in your life. When you wake up to the causes and reasons for all of that, you will have a new beginning and a new understanding. Now, I want to go into this card for just a second. You'll notice here, all of these birds out here are outside of the cage and they are flying free. And you have a bird in here that is still inside the cage, and yet the cage door is wide open. This is the understanding. What's this understanding for you, Cancer? The cage door is open. You can fly through that cage and you can be free. But you have to do it under the power of your own wings. You have to stop looking outside of yourself for a savior. We have the power and the capacity to heal and change our lives. When we wake up to this understanding, when we wake up to the understanding that we are making ourselves miserable, when we take action to start something new, to step away from this energy, we have that understanding that the cage door was always open and you can fly free. Let's move into difficult influences and challenges. You have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. What does the Wheel of Fortune in reverse signify? Wheel of Fortune in reverse signifies you are coveting and craving what other people have. This is causing you to feel isolated. This is causing you to feel lack. This is perpetuating lack in your life. When you wake up to that understanding of this, it's no longer a fantasy, and you can bring the Wheel of Fortune, you can bring anything into your life. But right now, this Wheel of Fortune is coming in the reversed position for you, Cancer, because you're still in the position of believing that the cause of your misery and isolation is someone else's fault. It's not. I'm sorry that sounds harsh. It sounds cruel. But when we wake up to the realization that we and only we are responsible for our own actions and for where we're at in our life, when we take responsibility for where we are at in our lives, that's when the cage door opens. That's when the Wheel of Fortune goes from being reversed to being upright. Let's move into messages you need to hear right now. You have learn from your mistakes, messages you need to hear right now. Okay. Part of what happens when we wake up to this, when we wake up and we start to understand that we need to take responsibility for our own lives, when we begin to take the action to be able to leave the cage that we've created for ourselves, there is this feeling inside of ourselves that we need to beat ourselves up. Oh my God, I can't believe I stayed in that crappy relationship for so long. Oh, and we beat ourselves up. Learn from those mistakes and then move on from them. Be yourself. And most importantly, forgive yourself. You didn't know. Now you do. Now you can move forward and begin to turn this upright. Let's have a look. You have another ace here, another new beginning. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. In your unexpected, you have the King of Swords, also known as the King of Clouds. The King of Swords is the king in the tarot deck that is most in control, or so he believes. The Suit of Swords is all about the mind and what goes on in our thoughts. And it's a little bit disconnected from our emotions, which would be the cups and tapping into our heart center. The King of Cups coming in here is giving you the illusion that you had been 100% in control. But you're waking up to the fact that you always had the opportunity to step away. But you were being controlled. Control is one of those funny things that we've been led to believe that we were in control of our lives, when in actual fact we weren't. And now that we're waking up to the fact that the cage door is open and we have the ability to take 100% responsibility for our lives, all of a sudden, those who had been giving us the illusion that we were in control are now freaking out, and they are trying to exert more control over us. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's where you're at. You're waking up to that right now. And it's beautiful. As you wake up to that, however, it feels like it's a burden that you need to carry up a mountain. It's not a burden. In fact, if you look at this card, you have the peasant down here with the elite carrying their cock on their head, cock being the rooster on their head. Okay. He has a choice. This is where the control comes in. This man is leading this man to believe that he is in control because he is walking. There is an understanding or misunderstanding here. He thinks he's in control. Who's actually in control? This one. He has the ability to throw this 1% off of his back, and he can then climb the mountain. The cage is open. The next card in your unexpected is the number 5, the no thingness card. This card corresponds to the Hierophant in the traditional tarot. What does the Hierophant ask us to do? The Hierophant asks us to do the work that this whole reading is talking about for you, Cancer. Look at the institutions. When you came into this incarnation as a human on the planet, however many years ago, your family taught you certain things. And then your world expanded a little bit and you went out into society and they taught you certain things. And then you went to school and school taught you certain things. Those who were in control and wanted you to believe that you were in control of your life were the ones that you were carrying around as the burden on your back without realizing that you actually had the freedom. And when you throw him off, he is going to then want to exert more control over you. That's the world that we are currently living in. That is the paradox that we're currently in. And this card in your unexpected is that you're waking up to that and you're seeing it, and you're seeing it with so much clarity, and you are questioning everything. And when you do that, you awaken your consciousness. You awaken something within yourself and in others. I do want to say, I'm sensing here, Cancer, that very, very soon, we're probably going to start to see mentor cards come out in your reading, asking you to step up and step into the role of mentor, of teaching others about this open cage, of teaching others about the paradox of control and burdens. Okay. You are awakening to all of this. Let's have a look. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let me just have a look here. Yeah. Okay. So you have the King of Winter. This is also known as the King of Swords. You have the Three of Winter, also known as the Three of Swords. Look familiar? Three of Swords. You have the Seven of Winter, Seven of Swords, and you have the Six of Spring. And they came out in this order. So let's review. King of Winter again corresponds to the King of Swords, which you have already seen here in your unexpected. This is the King of Swords. This is the King of Control. This is the king that is walking into your life right now, wanting to exert more control. Who actually has the control? You have the Three of Winter here. Three of Winter, as I mentioned, is the card of terminating and breaking ties and saying enough is enough. And I also mentioned that I thought I was going to see something about mentors, mentoring. The Three of Winter in this deck goes one step beyond the isolation card here. This card is also a card of reach out to others for help and support. Possibility that others will also reach out to you for help and support. Seven of Winter. Seven of Winter is that someone in your life has not been as honest and forthcoming as they could have been. Well, yeah, no kidding. Because this group of people sitting on all of our shoulders, well, they were, living the life of luxury that some of us were coveting, thus creating lack for ourselves because we were coveting what these guys had, while at the same time creating this burden for us. There was obviously deception in hand. And this card is indicating that you have awakened to that. And you know that now. And when you know that, you can see another way around. You can see a way out, and you will fly out of the cage. And finally, you have the Six of Spring, also known as the Six of Wands. I don't normally read what's on the cards, Cancer, but I'm going to read what's on this card because it wraps up everything that I've been saying to you for September 15th through September 30th. Wonderful news is on its way. No kidding. When you open this cage door and you throw this burden off your back and you recognize that the control was an illusion, beautiful things can come into your life. Smart choices bring you rewards, success, and public recognition. There you go, Cancer. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here. I greatly appreciate you. If this reading resonated deeply with you, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps. Also, give the video a like. And if this resonated with you and you feel a connection, my contact details are down below if you're interested in booking a private session. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again at the beginning of October for your next reading.